Dr. Ferebee, did your decision to take this job in D.C., did you wait till after the referendum votes, or did you already know about this before the referendum votes?
So as this occurred, as it does with many school district leaders, it really escalated over the weekend. If I talk to my colleagues across the nation, it's uncommon for superintendents to have a very quick process over two to 3 day period. And for me, most of the process occurred over the weekend. And so the referendum was a process way before that, and I was very much so committed to the referendum campaign, as evident in voter approval. It's very, very, very exciting to know that we had over 75%, 70% of our voters supporting our referendum request for the operating and capital ask. And I don't believe that would have happened without my full attention to that. And so I was fully dedicated to that. And I believe my work, along with others, influenced the voter approval and support.
Why D.C.? Because you said no to L.A., so why D.C.?
Yeah, so the leadership that I would be working with is important to me. I think it is something that impacts the speed of transformation and progress. And the mayor in D.C. Is a phenomenal leader and has recognized the importance of education with tremendous investments that I believe I can build upon. And so mayor leadership was very critical for me in considering this opportunity.
D.C. has some issues, more schools, but private-public partnerships. You're walking into a lot of stuff. Are you ready for that? And I'm not questioning your skill set. I'm not questioning your educational background, but it's a bigger city.
Yes.
Right? There's more political. There's more things going on than Indianapolis.
It's a fair question, and to be clear, all school districts have their opportunity and challenges. I do think that the political landscape is very different, being in the nation capital. I also believe that the scope and size is different, but when you're in this position and you're leading a system, many of the strategies are the same. The decision you make on an inclement weather day is essentially the same with 30,000 students as it is with 50,000 students. And so I will take from this experience in Indianapolis a lot of the structures and systems and ways of thinking to a larger scale. But again, a lot of times, a lot of that work is the same.
But you have now a track record. When you're in Durham and in Indianapolis, you made some tough decisions for kids. You always talked about it's about the kids. In Indianapolis, you found money for teachers, which no one ever thought someone would find. But at the same time, you made the decision to close buildings because they were not best for kids. It was not really financially stable. Can Washington now expect the same thing? We've seen you now with a track record of making tough decisions and working with teachers when you needed to, but it's all about the kids. So how should we see you as you head east?
So first of all,
because they're waiting for you, right? They know your record, so you're not going to change.
So I think first of all, the notion that you can be a successful school district leader without making tough decisions, is a false promise. You have to be willing to make difficult decisions. That's why you're hired. That's what expected of you as a leader. For me, I welcome those opportunities. I welcome the opportunity to think differently about how we can better serve our students and families. And so you're right. My goal is to ensure that we are as innovative, as creative, as aggressive as we can be to improving student outcomes for the students in Washington, D.C., as we've done here in Indianapolis. Now, what I'll also say about that in the same context is, how we go about doing that won't necessarily be the same as strategy in Durham wasn't the same strategy in Indianapolis. And so part of my work early on will be listening and learning. You'll recall as I was peppered with questions in 2013, what are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about that? You'll go back and watch and look at my responses. It was the first thing is to listen and to learn. So I don't come with all the answers. I'm not coming with the solutions, but I will learn the landscape quickly, and we'll decide together in collaboration with the community, what we do next.
You came with a vision, and some would say it's transformative. Whether you accept that or not, right, you'll have to wait to see what history says. But you did come with a vision, and it was very clear. You put it in writing. But now you're leaving. How much of that vision should stay in place then? Because obviously there have been some successes for the school district, and when there's a new school leader, obviously a new vision comes in, things change. But of what you brought in, what things do you hope the district will hold on to because you find it to be sound practices?
I really hope we hold on to our collaborative spirit. I think most recently we've been able to make more progress at a faster pace because we have leveraged the relationships around us, whether that's our nonprofit organization with the mayor's office and city agencies, our higher ed institutions, the business community. I'm very proud of our partnerships with the business community. I mean, we have one of the most prominent collaborative efforts with the business community, which impacts our ability to prepare students for the labor market and the workforce. And so those are things that I think are critical that we should maintain as a part of our work, because when we do that well, everyone benefits, and quality of life is improved for our students in the greater city at large. And I hope to see that continue in the district, and it's something that the Board of School Commissioners have talked about continuing. The other is our commitment to recognizing our teachers with increased compensation. Prior to my arrival, we had a half a decade with frozen salaries. We've been able to address salaries with increases. We're in the process of collective bargaining and raising salaries more. I know the Board of School Commissioners are also continue conversations about how we can make that happen not only for this year, but years to come.
There's always a temptation when a new leader comes on board. They'll say, that Ferebee guy moved too fast, too quick. Let's undo what he did. Let's reopen some schools. Let's change that policy. We like this, but we didn't like that. Do you have any thoughts on that? Obviously, you have no control once you leave as to what moves forward. But are there certain things that should not be undone because may impact either the financial structure or the achievement structure that's been established?
That's something I really can't worry about. I've learned early on that you can't spend too much time worrying about what you can't control. And this is an evolving and changing city, and I had to adapt. The district had to be agile in its responses to challenges and opportunity. And I anticipate new leadership will do the same. And so it's difficult for me to project what will happen, and also it's something that I can't control.
Regrets?
As I look back over my tenure in Indianapolis, there's a lot to celebrate. But if I could go back, I think our community engagement got better in recent years. But in the early days, I think there were definitely opportunities to improve and have greater parent empowerment and voice. I think we're doing a better job of that now, but we still have some ways to go to really be effective in elevating the parent voice.
Achievement.
Achievement. I mean, I think you're always in continuous improvement. We always want to get better results, and I think that will continue for the next leader of IPS, as it has been for me.
But don't be so humble. I mean, graduation rates increased some. You have seen better outcomes. So for you as you leave, what do you want your legacy to be in the sense of that you could say, you know what, in my 5 years there, as a team of people, we were able to do X, Y, and Z. For you, what will that be?
For me, anybody who's been around me in the last 5 years know that I preach about social mobility because Indianapolis has struggled with social mobility. And I am very, very proud that we have prepared more students to be college and career ready, with the opportunity to create a ladder up with better quality of life, better standard of living to take care of themselves and their family. And for me, that is my core mission. That is why I am here, is to give young people the best opportunity to succeed. Whether that's more students earning scholarship, that's more students earning credentials in high school where they can go to work right out of high school, whether it's more students having the ability to have internships and apprenticeships. I mean, the list goes on. All of that I'm extremely proud of, because I believe that it will help not only the students that have been in our schools, but it will help with the vitality of the city.
What is your message to your replacement then? Whomever he or she is in 2019, as you begin your new job in Washington, what would you want them to know about this job?
I think you have to do it your way. And everyone's leadership style is different. My leadership style was different from Dr. White, and I anticipate who comes after me will be very different as well. And you have to understand that you're in a different time and different day, and how you lead will be in many ways different from your predecessor, but there may also be some similarities. I think the relationship with the Board of School Commissioners has to continue to be strong. If I go back to points of pride, that would be another one. I believe the Board of School Commissioners and administration have had a very successful collaborative relationship. And when that doesn't exist, it's difficult to get things done for students.
Is your replacement among the ranks?
It'd be inappropriate for me to talk about, what's going to happen next in terms of new leadership. Those aren't decisions that I'm tasked with making or influencing. And we've had a strong group of commissioners now who have been very thoughtful in their decision-making process. And we'll have new school board members that will be coming on board that have already expressed a commitment to ensuring that students and families get what they need. And so I'll let them make that decision, and I look forward to being as helpful as I can in the interim.
I think Washington is ready for you, because you just did not answer my question, which is okay. The Washington Press Corps will be ready for a non-answer.
Thank you.
You left, final question, so you left North Carolina, you come to the Midwest, you go back east. There is a transition coming from East Coast living to Indianapolis, Indiana. As you head back east, what will you take away from this experience? What will you take away from the Midwest that you didn't learn, that you may have learned, or that will empower you to do better as you head into your new job?
I'm a foodie, so Midwestern food has been something I've really enjoyed. We are a very biking-friendly community, and I've enjoyed many Saturdays, many afternoons on the Monon Trail and other bike trails here in the city. So I'm looking forward to taking that love for cycling to Washington, D.C. And I really owe that to Indianapolis, because that wasn't something that I enjoyed previously.